Hello, and welcome to today's episode where we're going to talk about one of the most sensitive and personal topics of our time: gender, identity, and the soul. Maybe you're a teen or a young child listening who has wondered, was I born in the wrong body? Maybe you're a parent hearing those words from your child. Wherever you are in this conversation, I want you to know this is not about judgment. This is about compassion, about truth, and about remembering who you really are. It's not unusual for young people to look in the mirror and feel out of place. Maybe you don't like your body, or maybe you've experimented with clothes or roles that don't fit what people expect. Those feelings are real, and they can be confusing. When you're young, it's natural to explore. Some young children like to dress up as the opposite sex or play games that are usually associated with one sex or the other, but don't necessarily think about wanting to become the opposite sex. As a teenager, with all the physical and emotional changes that teens typically face, it is not unusual to even question who you are. Sometimes that also shows up as wanting to dress like the opposite sex or wishing you were born different. But psychologists have noticed something important. Many children and teens outgrow those feelings when they're simply given space, love, and time. For example, psychiatrists like Dr. Susan Bradley, who's a Canadian psychiatrist, and her colleague, Dr. Kenneth Zucker, worked with children who felt uncomfortable in their birth gender. What they observed is that most of these kids didn't carry those feelings into adulthood. The desire often faded as they matured, especially when no one rushed them into permanent changes. Even today, voices like Dr. Stephen Levine, a psychiatrist who has worked with gender-distressed patients for decades, remind us these feelings often point to deeper emotional wounds. He says it's vital to explore the psychology and the soul first, because changing the outside won't necessarily heal the inside. What this shows us is that your feelings are real, but they don't have to be forever. What seems like the only answer right now may shift as you grow, as you discover more of yourself, as you heal. And that's okay. You are not broken. You are in process. And don't let society or peers pressure you into anything permanently that will affect your future. It's important to address the spiritual perspective, which is often overlooked or not even considered. You are not an accident. You didn't just land in a random body. Your soul chooses, or is karmically required, to embody as a male or female for a purpose. Here's something you may not have heard before. No matter your body, you are both masculine and feminine. If you're in a female body, you are 51% feminine and 49% masculine. If you're in a male body, you are 51% masculine and 49% feminine. That means you already carry both sides within you because you were made in the image and likeness of God. From Genesis, we read, "And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. So if you feel some imbalance or like you don't fully fit in your birth gender, that's not a mistake. It's part of your growth. There are lessons, strengths, and energies to master in the gender you were born into. Changing your body on the outside doesn't heal the lessons your soul came here to learn on the inside. So why might someone feel like they're in the wrong body? Again, from a spiritual perspective, in addition to the societal trends or pressures we see put upon individuals, teens, and even children, there are several reasons why someone may not feel comfortable in their birth gender. For instance, an individual who has had many lifetimes in one gender may not feel comfortable in the opposite gender, even though their karma or their divine plan dictated it. Or an individual might be rebelling against his or her karma and refuses to fulfill the purpose for that lifetime. Whatever the reason, changing your gender can have a serious impact on your ability to balance karma, fulfill your life's plan. In the case of children who have recently arrived in the physical dimension, they are still feeling their wholeness, which is also a reason why they might innocently dress as the opposite sex or play with toys or engage in sports typically associated with the opposite sex. This does not mean that the child should be encouraged to change his or her gender. In fact, it is not spiritually lawful to interfere with a child's divine plan in this way. It is important that the soul has the freedom to identify with its plan for its life, which includes the body in which they were born. But today, culture sends a very different message. Instead of encouraging teens to explore those feelings safely, our society often pushes, maybe you were born in the wrong body. Maybe you need to change. Even comedian Bill Maher, who says he's an atheist, has raised alarms. He's pointed out, in some places, the rise in trans identification seems tied to social influence, even calling it trendiness. He asked, if this spike in trans kids is all biological, why is it regional? It's an uncomfortable question, but one worth asking. He has also said that people should be allowed to ask questions about the human race, changing at a previously unprecedented rate, without it being attributed to bigotry, especially when it comes to kids. We're literally experimenting on children, he said. Puberty blockers and other measures that are part of an LGBTQ trend among America's youth. And some parents, with the best of intentions, even find themselves swept up in it, almost comparing notes about who has a child transitioning. When something as serious as altering your body becomes a cultural fad, it's time to pause. And yes, parents are sometimes told by psychologists that if you don't let them transition, there is a great risk they'll commit suicide. The standard phrase that many parents hear is, "Do you want a live boy or a dead girl?" I want to share two stories with you because they show the human cost of rushing into decisions about the body. One is Kira Bell, who transitioned as a teenager in the UK. Later, she spoke about her deep regret, saying she was rushed into puberty blockers and hormones before she could fully understand what it would mean. She shared openly that she lost the natural ability to have children and the possibility of nursing a baby, things she never considered as a teen. I cannot reverse the physical, mental, or emotional damage I have suffered, she said. Another is Chris Beck, a decorated U.S. Navy SEAL who transitioned to live as a woman for nearly a decade before detransitioning. He later admitted he had been rushed into surgeries without being warned of their permanence. His words were stark. "You can't undo what's been cut away." These stories remind us while feelings about gender can shift, surgeries and hormones often leave permanent scars. Organs that are removed cannot be replaced. The ability to father children, to give birth, to nurse, these are gifts that once lost cannot be regained. So here's the truth. You are already whole. You don't need to erase your body to find yourself. You need to remember who you are beyond your body, a soul, carrying both masculine and feminine, born in this life with a purpose. And the body you were born into indicates which gender is for this life. If you're a parent listening, remember that children are still unfolding. They're not ready to make permanent life-changing decisions. And we don't expect them to in any other area. We don't let children drink alcohol, vote, or sign legal contracts. Why would we rush them into altering their bodies forever? Give them love, give them space, give them truth. Let them know it's okay to feel confused, but it's not forever. Most children, if left alone and supported, will grow into peace with who they were born to be. If you're struggling right now with gender, identity, or your body, I want to speak directly to you. You are not broken. You are not a mistake. You are a soul with infinite worth, created with intention. The culture may tell you the answer is to change your body, but the deeper answer is to heal your soul, to remember your divine spark, your Christ within, your eternal wholeness. You are loved. You are enough. And the body you were given is not your enemy. It is the temple of your soul, designed for lessons, the growth, and the victory you came here to achieve. As you go forward, may you remember this. You are not a mistake. You are a soul of infinite worth, born with a purpose, clothed in a body that is your temple. May you find peace with who you are today, courage for who you are becoming, and the strength to listen to the quiet voice within that whispers, you are whole, you are loved, you are enough. Carry that truth with you and let it be a light on your path.